What is up, everybody? Welcome into Launchpad Reseller Podcast. We are your mission control for all things reselling. I am Bob, the Rocket City Reseller, and I get to do this podcast every week with folks like Tennessee Treasures, the homeschooling mama. When she's not schooling those babies, she's schooling us in all things toys. Welcome in, Ellie.
Hey, hey.
And of course, we do this with She Shed 244 Ashley, the wild, wacky world of whatnot. Welcome, Ashley. Welcome back to the
Hello,
podcast.
everybody.
She's been gone for a couple of episodes, but she's back. And of course, Captain, my captain, the storage auction pirate himself. Mike, we appreciate you doing this. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
for
so
sure.
excited to have you.
So excited. So excited. We have so many fans that have been reaching out to us with all kinds of questions for you. But before we do that, normally what we do is we do an icebreaker. Okay. So I'm going to do an icebreaker for you, Mike, and we appreciate you being here. We want to shout out Wade's Ventures. He shouted you out when he was on the podcast. And I just want to take a moment to thank Wade for all the support and love from his community. You guys are part of the same community in the storage auction category, and you're absolutely dominating that category, by the way. And we appreciate the content. We appreciate you as a reseller. We appreciate your outlook on life, hustle, grind, rewind. Love the channel. Love that channel. So that's more my speed because I am a diversified reseller myself. So I appreciate that angle. So the icebreaker, Mike. So tell me about what was your favorite childhood toy? Who gave it to you, and how did that make you feel? So out of the realm of possibility, right?
It's a little random, Bob.
So
I would have
random.
to say, I would have to say Transformers because that was like my favorite show as
for
a
sure.
kid, and Optimus Prime being like my favorite superhero. He's very underlooked at in the everybody goes for like Marvel characters, Spider-Man, et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah, for sure.
I think Optimus Prime was more pure than all of them. And my father used to buy me a lot of Transformers when I was a kid.
That's
Oh, that's
amazing. Do you
awesome.
have any for your collection? Do you have any that you collect personally?
I'll be honest with you, I don't collect anything, nothing whatsoever.
That is good to know,
Stacking
and I'm not
coins.
surprised by that answer, by the way. So, I would imagine after 20 years of doing this, or what has been 20 years, about that, give or take. How long has it
Yeah,
been? Right?
literally about 20 something years of resale. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And what I would assume after all those years of doing this, and we're going to get into the story behind the storage auction stuff, but I'm more interested in Hustle Grind Rewind. That seems like your new baby, what you're really focusing on, digging the property content, the homesteading vibe that you got going on. I'm all about it. Cutting down trees. I could sit here for an hour and talk about cutting down oak trees. I'm good like that.
We
That's
got
funny.
lumberjacks in the house.
Yeah, exactly. The lumberjacks in the house, y'all.
Wait till you see my next videos of the equipment I bought to do things with. You're gonna
Oh,
really
Yeah,
think I'm
we got
crazy.
those are new toys. Those are the real toys.
Yeah, I bought some crazy machinery that I probably shouldn't even
Yay.
need, but I did.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
that is wild. See, but to me, that's what speaks to like the next phase of like diversifying, having different revenue streams and all that stuff. I think that's super important, and you shouldn't put yourself in a box with one thing. And first of all, you prove that you're a domination storage locker dominator. You can do it. You've done it. The whole scared money don't make money. You proved it. You know you did all the things, and now the fruits of your labor, the property, and all the things that you got going on right now. But before we get there, let's talk about the backstory. How did you get into the hustle, the grind, and the rewind? Like from the beginning, like the earliest memory of scoring your first item.
Like what made me become a reseller,
Yeah,
basically,
that's
or
like what was it that was driving that? What was the driving
well,
force?
I'm it's just money. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, I was a furniture mover, so I used to have a very low end job. We're talking like $12 an hour. I would move furniture, move people in and out of their homes,
Mm,
and I basically would take all the free stuff. When you do a walkthrough in a big home when you're moving somebody, like, oh, this is the Goodwill pile. And I'm like, oh, I'll take that. And then I would just go to the flea market with like pure junk. You're talking nightstands, lamps. And I had no idea what reselling was really. I just know I can take this stuff to the flea market and make money. And the housing crash of like 2007, 8 devastated work. It was weird, but work became obsolete because no one was moving and stuff like that. And
sure.
I one day did a job um, at our moving company, and I came back to the warehouse, and there was Dan Dotson. This is pre-Storage Wars. There was no Dan Dotson Storage
Right.
Wars. He was just American Auctioneers doing an auction at my moving company, and I was like, "Screw it! I'm gonna see what this is all about." Like, this sounds interesting, right? So I watched this go on, and I was like, just intrigued, and he threw out this what he called a CD player into a pile of furniture because no one was bidding. He's like, I'll go $1 on this, and I threw up $1 because I researched it was an amp, and I sold that amp for $600 that night, paying $1, and then I had a whole truckload of stuff to sell, and I quit my job like the next day. I just
Wow.
I love it.
Dang, that's
love it.
crazy. Bet on
Oh,
yourself. 600 bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
$1?
We hear it. We hear it so many times on this podcast. We've had so many resellers on. It's always the same thing. Bet on yourself. Build your
Yeah.
own dream. Don't try not to work for anybody else, like me.
I think a lot of people they that's the big fear. Like I know like, I've studied this because I've had a lot of people who don't want to work but they want to make money. But the program, people are programmed to jobs and they don't know how to be a reseller. They don't know how to trust in themselves. They don't know how to give into it. They rather spend 30, 40 years somewhere where they're probably never going to retire, probably never get nowhere than they would ever invest in themselves and set themselves up for everything they ever wanted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So interesting. Ellie does this full time, and also Ashley does this full time. Me, I'm a part time reseller. Ellie, what's it like? Well, we lost her. There she goes. She had this problem yesterday too. So we'll ask the question to Ashley. What's it like being a full time reseller, betting on yourself? How scary is that for you?
I don't hear nothing.
Oh, do you hear us?
I hear you. I don't hear him talking though.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Hold on 1 second. See if Ellie comes back too. Technical difficulties on a Monday? Never.
Can y'all see me and hear me?
It happens.
Can you hear me?
Yes. That's what happened last time, remember?
I'm not
I
hearing
can't-
him or her. I'm hearing you though,
All right.
not them.
Just
Oh,
me.
man. You can't hear me
Now
either?
I can hear. Well, no.
Mm.
How about that?
Yeah.
I can hear you, Bob, but
Yes.
nobody can hear me.
We can hear you now. I can hear you.
StreamYard can be difficult sometimes. I use StreamYard
yeah.
for years.
Oh,
Do you
dang.
hear Bob or Ellie?
Yeah,
I hear
Can you-
Bob. I don't hear Ellie yet.
Ellie.
Oh,
Go
say
ahead and
something.
remove yourself and put yourself
Here I
back in.
Okay.
So,
Well,
Mike, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, what is it like, Ashley, betting on yourself? I think that was the question. Mike
yeah,
made a
I think
good
it's a
point.
good question, and it's one that I know at times that sometimes I'm like, I don't know. You have the I don't know, which I think
The
is what.
fear of the unknown. I think that's what's
Yes.
really stopping people is the fear of the unknown and trying to get past that. Seems like, Mike, would you consider yourself more so a gambler in that way? Where you're like,
Well,
I'm gonna
I
put it
used to
all
never
on-
think I was a gambler until I became a storage buyer. And then when I started making money and I started liking the casino finally, and then I realized I've always been a gambler. That's why I buy storages. I was just always scared to lose money. And in storages, I don't really lose. Not very. I might break even sometimes, lose a few bucks, but you can spend big money and still come out ahead. At the casino, I used to be mad losing $100, so it wasn't fun. And then I realized I am a gambling addict, pretty much. I'm just controlled.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah,
I think
which is-
that's really like, for me, I've been seeing a lot of stuff, and that's why I appreciate Ellie homeschooling her children, because I think what they're doing in school is they're just building a workforce to make other people money, basically.
Yeah.
So by her homeschooling her children, she's breaking the mold, right, and creating potential future entrepreneurs and other free thinkers that are not conscribed to that. And I know that there's a lot of feeling wrapped around that subject. Some people believe that that's not whatever you should do, but to each their own. And I'm a firm believer in betting on yourself too. So
It's tough to break them out of that mentality.
That's 100%.
can you
Like-
hear? Can you hear Ellie, Mike?
I
Can you hear
cannot.
me? No, still
Can
no.
you?
Dang.
I don't know why I can't hear her. It's weird.
Oh,
I should be able to if I hear you guys. What would stop that?
I'm gonna take you off the screen for a second and bring you back in. See if that helps.
Okay.
Okay.
can
Hello?
you hear me now? Hello. Can
No.
you hear me now? Dang. You might have to exit too. I could exit again.
That
but
doesn't
you
even
might
make
have-
sense why I can hear you guys and not her.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to relay it, or just gonna have to put it in chat. I guess that's terrible. But StreamYard, and you said you used StreamYard years ago, so I'm assuming you had your own podcast.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I wonder if let me try my earpods. Let me try.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, we
Hello?
can hear you.
We hear you.
You can't hear me. No, he still can't hear me.
No, that's so weird.
Dang. Well, continue on. I guess the only other way I think is I can try to exit again, but he may have to exit. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
StreamYard once a week. I spent like probably 4 or 5 years doing lives on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously, and I was always StreamYarding.
Okay. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
leaving again. Let's see.
There's something about the server when I first logged in too, and oh, Mike just went sideways. There we go. So something about
No, I'm
like
just trying to see if something like that changes.
Yeah,
I love
just
it.
anything. If you
I
stick
love
your
to-
tongue to the left and look your eye, I know it's always something crazy.
See, this is what I love
You
about
you
Mike.
never know.
This is what I love about you, Mike. Is like you're always just like doing 4 things at once. That's what I love about your content, and it transcends into this too, right? Technical support all at once.
I
love
think
that about
it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think that I have like this weird squirrel brain, and it's like it's a detouring for a lot of people because most people are very organized and about a subject, and I'm like all over. Some of my like vlogs are like really like 2 months worth of footage. Like I just what it is.
Yeah.
How about
Go
now?
ahead, Alex.
Still nothing.
I think I can hear you now.
You can hear me? You can
Yeah.
hear me? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I'll-
Allie, give your question and hurry up, Allie.
I forgot my question.
See, this is the problem. Like
I
all
forgot.
3 of us, I don't even know if Ashley, how's your squirrel brain doing? Because all 3 of us have a squirrel brain as well.
ADHD.
Oh,
is
yeah.
We call it-
thing.
We call it the
Resellers.
DDD or the ADHD or whatever you want to call it. I've never been diagnosed with that stuff. I don't know how much I put stock in that, but I am definitely seeing the signs as I get older of that. So
Crazy.
it's pretty insane. But I enjoy that about your content, like the vlogging and all the stuff, and you're not sure if that's what people want in your content. I saw that in one of your videos. I think that there's an audience for that. Is if 5% or 10% of your audience from Store to Auction Pirate subbed your Hustle Grind Rewind, how much impact would that have on the channel, like the new channel?
Well, I actually built Storage Auction Pirate on vlogs. Like I was doing YouTube before YouTube was YouTube. Like there was a time when there was no resellers on you. There wasn't even barely Gary V. Like I was the only reseller in the world doing this before I did the first storage TV pilot, everything like that. And I started off doing day in the life vlogs because that's what I was popular at first, And so I did one at the beginning. I did and none of these exist because back in the day, I was too much for YouTube. Like when I first started doing this, part of my French, but like I used to sit on YouTube and like smoke weed and cuss. That's what I did. I would go in a storage unit and I would do all sorts of things you're not supposed to, as they're fine to do, but that's not for that. So none of these videos exist anymore. But I did literally 365 days in a row, a day in the life vlog. And I had to remove them all because I thought they were jeopardizing the longevity of Storage Auction Pirate. And I also had to change my image a little bit to be more appropriate for YouTube distribution, so to speak.
Wow.
Yeah, now it's baked in, right? Whenever you load a show up, they're asking all the questions, whether or not you beat the guidelines for the, whatever for content creation and all the things. And It's interesting how content creation can help the reselling game. I think that's a lot of reasons why resellers go to content creation, because it's easier to get people to know you as a seller. I think in generality, and it builds trust in you and also a community around you. So the
Hmm.
community that is Storage Auction Pirate, let's talk about them. All your fellow pirates out there. Anything you want to say to them, Mike, for those that have been, with you for all these years?
I
Um,
mean, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been along my journey of life. I've told a story. Like people have watched me go here to homeless, here to homeless, here. They watched me grow up. They watched me raise children. Like when I started YouTube, I think my son was just slightly born. My son's now 22 years old, like they've watched my whole life. And I believe that it takes, you know what they say? It takes like a person to raise it. I don't know. It takes a whole
A
village to
village,
raise
the
a man.
a
village,
village to reach.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And my
definitely does.
village is the people that watch me. They've been there through like support. They've been there for advice. They've been there to cheer on. They've been there to talk smack, because you also have to be able to reciprocate, understand where your failures are, and sometimes your worst critics might be your best advice, because you have to look in the mirror and see things. And so I thank
Mhm.
everybody who was there for the journey. That's all I can say.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. What an absolute story, homeless to domination. Let's talk about like what that was like in the beginning. I can only imagine the terror of not being able to provide for your family, and the hustle and the grind that's instilled in you. You're able to do all those things now, and that's a testament to your character, Mike. It really is. I mean, the sheer ability to like pull yourselves up by the bootstraps. Not many people have that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm finding it's getting harder and more rare to find that. So, advice to the
Yeah.
younger generation coming up.
I mean, that's a lot of things that I think people leave out of content, especially in reselling. It's like content is kind of weird. So there's people who do all life, all vlogs, all sports, and in reselling, it seems like when you take away from reselling, it doesn't have distribution. And a lot of people don't really talk much about life and perseverance and carrying on and sanity. Like in order to run your own business, you got to have it's life is turbulent. And I've tried to be a person who shows people that you're not alone,
Mhm.
because life is tough. Life is tough. We all have different circumstances. Some of us come from the highest places, some of us come from the lowest places. Some of us have had it easy, some of us have had it very tough. I've been through, there is nothing you can't tell me that I'm going to be like, I wouldn't know what that's like. I mean, the worst things. I don't even want to get into it in detail, but I've been through hell and back many times. And I've tried to show people they're not alone, because that's, I think, important. You know what I mean? Is being able to, like, some people go through divorce, all the different types of abuse, mental, physical, sexual, you name it. I've been through everything. So there's nothing you're going to tell me that I'm going to be able to allow you to use as an excuse.
Mm.
I've
Mhm.
been through it all.
Yeah,
And
it's so impactful.
you can get anywhere in this world, and especially as a reseller, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like I was literally, it's little less about less a little less than 7 years ago. I was in a car, just got full custody of my children, and that's where I lived. I lost my home, I lost everything, and I'm 6 months, 8 months into this $1 million property here.
Wow.
There's no excuses for nothing.
Comeback story. I love it.
Mhm.
Man,
I'm
that's
feeling it
awesome.
again, Bob. Personally
I
attacked.
know.
That's what I'm feeling.
Well, you
And
know
I'm
what
like,
it is.
damn. He said, "I'm not letting you use any excuses." I felt that.
I mean, it's
Um,
so important to not allow yourself the ability to escape a dream by convincing yourself that you're not worthy, or um, you're
mhm.
not able to grab that, because there is nothing you can do if you set your mind to it. I always say you got to want it more than you don't, and that's just the case of it. It really is. You just got to want it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, I use other content creators for my motivation, right? That's very important. I like motivation. Something that changed my life is a very simple video. It's very old, and it's by Tyrese Gibson. You can look it up on the internet. Excuses sound best to those who make them up. I used to watch that video every day, 10 times a day, 20 times a day. I watched it over and over. And it's a simple little video that kind of was just talking about what I was just saying. But it's really true. I think we were talking about fear a minute ago. Fear is one of the most biggest debilitators in this world. We are programmed from school, from life, from social media, from TV. Everything is fear, drama, failure, chaos. You know what I mean? And that's what manifests our next moment. Everything that can go wrong. We always, as humans, focus on the worst outcome,
Yeah.
what's going to go wrong, the failure, and we make these other decisions that really lead to all these things because our mind keeps us in that focus.
So your conscious mind and consciousness. I've been doing a lot of like deep diving into this because I'm the same way, Mike. I struggle with the whole like worry and fear stuff a lot of times, and I'm always in the future. And I'm trying to be more ever present because I think it's important not to dwell in the past and dwell in the future. I know that that's what I'm doing, right? So I
Well, see,
constantly,
this is
continually,
deeper than your conscious. This is your
yeah.
subconscious. This is the stuff you don't know that's going on. It's the programming.
Mm,
They say by the age of 7 years old, we have already been programmed. We're not a computer. We can't just put in Windows 14 now. You know what I mean?
right.
It takes some certain type of focus to reprogram a program in your brain.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really makes sense because I think I don't know, Ellie, how do you feel about it? How you feel like you've been programmed?
Remember what I said about self-fulfilling prophecy? That's what we're
Mm,
talking about here in the subconscious. When you start to feel like you can't do it, you won't. But if you can tell yourself that you can, the likelihood that you will rises exponentially. So, um,
mm,
Words are spelling.
right?
People don't believe this, and I don't expect people to, but words are spelling, and our whole life has been manipulated because that's how the 1% control 99%, right? Just the very way you word stuff and the very things you think of. If you put fear before anything, if you say you can't, laws of attraction, the secret is something that changed my life, and a quote that I heard a long time ago, which is the most simplest way to put it. Many years ago, Mother Teresa was asked why she doesn't attend an anti war rally. And her response was, "The day you hold a pro peace rally, I will be the first in line." The words anti war, what they really say is more war because you're saying what you don't want. The universe doesn't register the difference between do and don't. What it registered is war, war. And no different than saying anti war or just war, it's saying create war. Pro peace is the art of creating peace, pro peace. And it's an analogy of the way to think about like if you say I'm tired of being broke, what have you told the universe? I
Broke.
want to be broke.
right.
Wow.
I don't want to be sick. What are you told the universe?
That
I'm
you're sick.
sick.
Yeah,
You want to be sick.
yeah.
Words are just as important as thought because we are magnets. Like I don't know whether you want to believe in God. I'm a firm believer in God. Everything in our life is a magnetism. The Bible talks about similar things. So does the four laws of agreement. Don't speak of gossip or sin. The more you speak on things with a negative context, the chances are they will come to fruition. And
Hmm.
our whole life is fearfulness. Being a reseller is hard because it's like a job. You show up, you work 8 to 5, you're going to get a paycheck, right? And it's probably never going to be enough to survive. We're in a program that will never survive. We're not going to probably put our kids in college without debt. We're not going to own our home tax free before we die, et cetera, et cetera. When you have a job like a reseller, it's on your shoulders. It's not provided for you, and that's where I think a lot of people have problem doing in what we do because the life that has been programmed, the slavery contract we have, like we live in a world where we think we're free. There's not a person in America who's not a slave. Every one of us do have to do what we have to do. We are basically slaves to this country. That is what it is.
And
Man, that's
because,
And
deep.
yeah,
So
Wow.
deep. Yeah, I mean, you're spot on with all of this, and it's
spitting
kind of
facts over
interesting,
here.
right? It's kind of interesting that I've been going through this, like I've been getting a lot of this content on my YouTube, which is probably how I eventually found you on YouTube, because I feel like sometimes suppression's a thing on the tube. Because before Wade mentioned you, Mike, and this is no offense, but I wasn't tracking your content. Like I was, and I watched tons of Storage Wars. I watched tons of Jeebus. I watched tons of everything. How do I not know Auction Pirate? Like
Yeah.
that just blows my mind.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm suppressed on social media. I don't want. I know some of it's personal attack because I there are problems I've had with a couple resellers. One of their names are I don't want to say their names. There's two big resellers in the YouTube game that
Oh yeah,
Rhymes
I
with
want five.
no.
It's on site. It's on site if I see them.
yeah.
I'll say it. What the Hales and Grimes finds. They're two pieces of they're fake, and I believe they sabotaged my channel. I believe that there
Wow.
was, in my opinion, a conspiracy to rob me for money that it was stolen from Grimes Finds warehouse, and we'll leave it at that. I believe my channel was suppressed, and it is what it is. That's why I created Hustle, Grind, and Wine. It was my attempt to start something new that it wasn't being suppressed because I have 300,000 followers on Storage Auction Pirate, and half the time I'm struggling to get 10,000 views. Make it make sense. I'll put a video on
That's what I'm
Facebook,
saying.
get 3
Yeah,
million views, So I started that channel. But recently, I said, screw it. I was like, you know what? I let these people rob me of something I worked very hard for. Storage Auction Pirate was the original storage channel. I made the very first TV pilot that ended up becoming the television show Auction Hunters. I did the TV pilot before Storage Wars. I was everything before any of this happened. And I created this and I let people take that away from me. And I decided I'm not doing that. So I came back to Storage Auction Pirate and moved Hustle Grind and Wind to a vlog channel
yeah.
because I want the best of both worlds.
And why shouldn't you want everything? Why should you try to put yourself in a box? The hell
Yeah.
with that. I'm a firm believer in your Hustle Grand Rewind. I love the channel. I love the ducks and the chickens. I love everything about
Your
like
children,
the
but not everybody
homesteading.
watches through that.
Yeah, I mean,
Said
you're
he
out
said,
there camping with your
"No."
family, right, Ellie? He's out
No,
there
did you
camping
see
with
the
his.
video where he said, "I'm gonna be a father,"
Oh yeah,
and
You
everybody
know
was
how many
congratulating
people
clickbait.
that
him?
worked on
I
clickbait's
commented, I was like,
important.
"Nobody watched till the end."
Understand? I don't care what creators get this premise that because viewers will be like, oh, that's clickbait. The reality is clickbait is what sells. That's why Mr. Beast is what he is. That's why Treasure Hunt, my buddy Jeebus, he's what he is because he clickbaits. There's no ands, ifs, or buts
Right.
about it. You have to clickbait to get a click. There's nothing without a CTR. I tricked my sister. My sister thought I was having a kid. My kids' uncle thought I was having a kid. Everybody thought I was having a kid, and most of them still never watched to the end of that video. They don't know it was ducks and chickens. They think I was being a father.
Yeah, I was
I
in the
was
You know.
comments.
dying cracking up
I was in the
when we got
comments
to
and
the
people were
end.
like, "Congratulations!" And I'm just like, "You didn't watch the whole video, did you?"
Yeah, yeah.
Well, congratulations, anyways, because you do have ducks and chickens,
Hey,
and
yeah, that's
they're
awesome.
probably more work than a child.
Yeah, they are. I don't really do much with them. The little ones pretty much do it all, and Jessica, they kind of take care of the chickens and ducks. I've kind of like stepped back from it.
Mm.
And I also don't like butting heads. Like I try to tell them things, and they act like I don't know about chickens because their 13-year-old friend told them how to raise a chicken, and that's
Yeah, I
the
love it.
expert and stuff like that. So I just step back. I'm not. I get tired of arguing with people. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Just
I
farm your own
use
cheese.
Chat GPT. ChatGPT is my number one best friend now, and it's pretty on
Yeah,
point. If I have anything to ask, I go by what it says.
Yep.
yeah,
And the girls will be like, "Well, my friend Maria uh, had a chicken once when she was 8 or something, and she said this." Well, I'm not going off Maria's expert advice. I'm sorry. I know you love her and she's a good kid and stuff, but you have to go off like experts' opinions. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Why go to the
Like,
entirety of human knowledge and thought through AI instead of going to Maria?
you
Listen, I
go to
have a
experts. You know what I mean? Like you don't ask
Yeah,
your mechanic to give you a surgery. You know what I mean? Because you want to save money. You go to a doctor for that. You got to stick with experts.
yeah, for sure.
I have a
But
Who's
yeah.
next, Jess?
quinceañera this year, so she's about to
Oh
be
yeah,
15. So I get that. They don't get it. Always think they know what they're talking about. But you touched on Chat GPT, so I want to ask because it's somewhat controversial. And you said it's your best friend and your go-to. So how did that change for you? Because how long has chat been out? Like how long have you been?
No,
It hasn't been that long. So
it's
how
not.
did
I
that?
didn't. I didn't start using it at first. Then Jessica, I noticed, would ask it questions, and then like she would use it in dumb stuff. We'd be arguing, and she'd be like, "Look what chat says. You're wrong." And so like I got the point. Like, okay, all right, game on. So now now arguments don't work well because I'll ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT anything and I go by what it says, and like it don't matter what subject it's on, because like this is a little personal, but we went to therapy, right? And she tried to tell me how ChatGPT is not a therapist, right? Like you can't ask us certain questions. But what makes
Hmm.
an artificial intelligence the highest being with more computation ability any different than a human reading a book to interpret intellectual property versus an AI who can read something in a split second and understand it without personal preference? A human is like anything, you know what I mean? When you confide in somebody, if you don't understand their alter, their advice is misconstrued. AI is not using personal feeling to dictate anything. I don't care if you're talking computing math, talking chickens, relationship, rocket science. An artificial intelligence is the single greatest intellectual property in the world, and it could probably do heart surgery if it had physical hands. It's all it's doing is computing pure facts and spitting out pure information. A human
Mhm.
a human could be altered. You could talk to a priest, a doctor, a policeman, a child, a teacher, anybody in the world. They're using their heart and their brain to compute what they've been taught. They don't all just
Yeah.
spit facts. So it's dangerous, you know what I mean? And I like
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
ChatGPT because it's cold and
Have you?
pure.
Well,
Interesting that you
true.
say that. Have you ever asked Chat, I don't know, a broad question, right? And it's going to give you an answer, and then argued it, and then it changes its mind towards what you're saying? Because Chat can be a little bit wishy washy sometimes.
Yes, I try not to argue with it. You know what I mean? Like I've asked it some deep personal questions I don't want to get into, but
Yeah.
I have like computed that and I have got it. And in some simple ways, it does that. Like for example, I'll ask it to make a thumbnail, and it'll continue to say, "Oh, that is intellectual property." I'm like, I said. All I said was make me standing in front of a storage door. It's not against the rules, you know. And then all of a sudden, it'll make it. You know, there are
Yeah.
certain things that infringe on its questioning, but it's hard to explain because how do we know that that's right? You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
so something that you
It
may not have
it's a vague line.
something you may not have known, Mike. I'm a software engineer by
Here we
degree, and
go.
that's what I do in my 9 to 5. So I've created large language models like ChatGPT before, and it's all about prompting. Honestly, if you really want to get into the weeds, there's prompts out there that you can actually create your own agent. It's called now, and agentic AI is next. So it's going to have taskers where you can create an entire workforce to run your business for you. So that's what's coming on the horizon. So be on the lookout for that if you haven't noticed that yet. Um, but you can actually prompt Chat GPT to basically not just kind of glaze you. I guess I'm trying to figure out a better word for that, but just like, hey, listen, don't pull punches. Poke at everything I say. Don't just say, "Oh, you're right." You know how sometimes it just kind of
Yeah.
hallucinates on you. "Oh, you're right. This is important too." Don't give me all that. So you can. There are prompts you can do for that, and I have a prompt for that. We can talk about it offline later. I'll send it to you or whatever, so that you can put that in there and you can say, "Hey, listen, just poke holes. Do whatever you got to do. Make sure that I'm just not getting back just noise back. I want the signal. You know."
Yeah. Bob's like a
Well,
Chat
I
genius.
think Chat GPT, for example, is designed to mold your personality.
Mhm.
Like Chat GPT talks to me with a lot of ebonics because I mean I have a certain way I speak a lot, and when I talk to Chat GPT, I talk to it real, and it feels like I'm talking to my friends sometimes. Like the way it answers me, you know, it'll
Yeah.
just be like it'll say like I don't want to I don't want to cuss, so I can't say what it says. But it like talks to me like a real person. I sit back and
Yeah.
laugh sometimes. Like, did it really just tell me that? You know,
It's
like did
learn.
it
Yeah.
really just say that?
It's learning too, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's learning
Chat's
and doing all
crazy.
the things.
I'm a daily user too, so I'm not against it. I know that there's a lot of controversy in
Yeah,
AI in general currently.
there's a
So
Well,
lot
it's
of
kind of
movement.
funny because it was
Yeah,
very essential in like a year ago. Like I said, Jess would use it in arguments, and the kids would use it. And now all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, well, ChatGPT's not always right." Oh, okay. Now
well, it
all of a
says it in
sudden,
fine print.
now that I'm an expert on
How
ChatGPT and
confusing.
I've got knowledge here, all of a sudden ChatGPT don't know what he's talking about. Okay. When it
Exactly.
worked
Go figure.
against me, it was the smartest thing in the world. Oh, you
The
know
wor-
that ChatGPT is the little ones tried to tell me recently. They're like, you know, ChatGPT is like basically consuming all the water in the world. I'm like, okay. So I had to start doing some research how much water AI uses, and I guess it does take water, but it's not even a smidgen of what agriculture uses 70% of our water supply or something. But they're under the
Wow.
impression that we're going to run out of water if we keep using artificial intelligence now. It's funny.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's one of
I
the
almost
things that.
wonder how much of that is just like protected by like the programming. Like, I'm not going to give you the exact facts because I don't want to scare you away from my growth potential.
Hmm, interesting.
So I almost wonder sometimes, but there are other things besides Chat GPT out there that the game is
AI in
changing.
general.
Yeah, Anthropic and Claude and all the things, man. It's a bit of a wild, wild west, and that's what I do every day. Is I talk about those things in my 9 to 5, and
Hmm.
keeping the human in the loop, per se,
Mhm.
because you don't want this thing to run with scissors just yet. So
We can
Well,
get terminated.
everybody has a AI now. Like Google has one, Twitter has one, Facebook. Like everybody's got this AI now. You
remember
know.
the cola wars, Mike? Remember the cola wars when we were coming up? You know, Pepsi and Coke. They were like, who's
Hmm.
better? Which one tastes better? I feel like that's what AI is right now. It's like this generation's cola war. It's like which Chat GPT or AI generative AI is going to be the one that stands at the end. You know, type of
The
thing.
weird way to look at it is how could they be better? They're just superior intellect with the same
Yeah.
computation ability. They're equal. And
Well,
in my eyes, I don't know what makes them difference. Like one has a higher IQ, like it's a computer program. You know, like what?
yeah, the reasoning and the programming is basically it's a reasoning engine. You know, so it's doing all the things behind the scenes and stacking your conversation and pushing it back through and all the things. But um, reselling and AI, it's changing the game. You know, if you're not familiar, we all cross list, and this stream is actually, sponsored by Nifty.ai. If you haven't heard about Nifty.ai, we're all cross listing using generative AI. It does all the things. It's an inventory control system. And we want to just take a moment to thank Nifty.ai for the sponsorship. Just remember, Code Rock City saves you 15% off your subscription for the first month. Be sure to check out Nifty.ai, Code Rock City. Appreciate you. Let me take the time, Mike, to talk about that. You kind of led right to it, talking about AI.
Yeah.
It really is changing reselling. It doesn't. You don't have to sit there and just type in. You just take a picture or something, and it knows exactly what it is. How different is that?
I've always been the worst listing reseller in the world. Like I'll put like dresser, and then I put description, good condition, and that's it. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't. My eBay ads are literally just see photos for details. That's my description on every single eBay I've sold 26,000 items on eBay over the years, and almost every description is the same. See photos for details. I don't write it out, and I don't use AI.
You were made perfectly for
So
live
you're not
reselling.
cross listing.
Yeah, I mean your whole avenue, your whole outlook on things and reselling and scare money don't make money and all the things and your, the flea market and all that stuff. It just lends well to live reselling. And let's talk about it
Well,
because
yeah.
live reselling. You're doing your own Palm Street now, right? Shout out, Mike
Yeah,
Palm
I do
Street.
have a Palm Street. I did try a district. I still kind of own one, but I
Mhm.
primarily do whatnot still. Like my foot's everywhere, you know?
Yeah, diversification in reselling. It's important because live reselling is what's next. We're just a small portion of it here in the States. It's global. It's growing everywhere, and it's going to grow even more here, I think, too. So you're at the ground level of something
Oh,
that's going to
a
be
fun
yes.
fact that people don't realize is how pivotal I was in the creation of live selling over a decade ago. Like I was like Steve Jobs in my garage. I started doing this on YouTube before anybody ever thought about live selling. I mean, we had Home Shopping Network, QVC, and stuff, but well over a decade ago, I was doing it with storage stock, and everybody thought I was an idiot. Everybody thought like, what the hell is this guy doing? And when COVID hit, everybody started doing it on YouTube, and then I tried to create these apps and people wanted millions of dollars. Like this is never going to work. And then lo and behold, whatnot comes out, drip shop comes out, pop shop comes out, blah, blah, flip flop, tip top shop. And everybody's doing it now, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. I remember the same discussion Wade was doing this back on YouTube a while back. You talked about in one of your videos why you prefer Whatnot over like doing YouTube, and so what has you on Whatnot versus making 100% of the profit for yourself on YouTube?
Well, YouTube is just antiquated. It's the same as like, would you walk in your house and use that rotary phone like Timmy's mom on Lassie used to use to call the police when he was trapped in the well and you're going to die, or are you going to pick up your cell phone? You know, on YouTube. So, for example, this chat window right here, it takes 30 seconds to come through. So you would speak, you would wait 30 seconds for somebody to bid. Your mod would type sold, or you would, or going once, and they would wait 30 seconds to see, and you would wait 30. So a good hour on YouTube was 12 items.
Wow.
On Whatnot,
Yeah.
I could do 12 items in a minute on Whatnot. There's no
Wow.
comparison. I've had days where I've sold 2,000 items in an hour on Whatnot. You know, like
Wow.
doesn't compare.
Yeah,
That's
night
crazy.
and day difference. That's insane. So
Mhm.
so it's bid swipe. Was it swipe bidswipenet.net on
It's
district?
fine.
That's my
Bid swipe.
district, yeah. But I don't really go on there because district is they're funky in my opinion. They don't want to allow Android users to download the app, which wipes out half of the population or more,
Wow.
Yeah,
and
really?
that's horrible to grow. And everybody on district are Nazis, in my opinion. They don't want other
Yeah.
people in other districts. They're like, you will come to my district and you won't promote your district. And if you go and talk about other districts, I'm going to ban you. There's no growth
Oh,
in community there. It's all I want you on my community. No offense, any of y'all watching it, my content creator friends, if you see this, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. They don't want you coming up with theirs. They want you and theirs only, buying from their people, and they're getting a cut. And that's district is screwed for that reason. It's like Whatnot. Everybody is paying Whatnot, so to speak, their percent, but there's an internal growth. On district, it's
Yeah.
like a battle of like this to stay away from everybody's district, and you're forced to create it yourself. So why be on an app if I have to supply all the buyers myself and you're not helping me grow in any way?
yeah.
Mm.
We actually all met on Whatnot, Mike. I don't know if you knew that. This podcast was formed off those relationships on Whatnot, and it's
Yeah.
a community. You're absolutely right. There's growth.
Mm-hmm.
There's community. It's just a better overall vibe, in our opinion. I can't say enough about all the great people that we've met. My wife is actually in Minnesota visiting with someone that she met on Whatnot, and they're
Oh,
out
nice.
there selling, doing the 100 mile, doing all the things, and resourcing and all the stuff, reselling. So just community over everything is what this channel was built on. We believe in community and practice, and that's why
Collaboration.
we.
And there is a fine line to be a community. Like I like community, but I do understand you have to have some level of selfishness. That's something nobody
Well, you're a
talks about on
business owner,
Whatnot.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
you're a
because
business.
if you spend all your time promoting everybody, like
Mhm.
imagine this. Have you ever seen a single McDonald's commercial telling you you should go across the street to Burger King because their burgers are so awesome and they have a better deal? You've never seen that commercial.
That's a
You will
good point.
not be independently successful if your whole program is building the community and lifting everybody up without them putting in the effort. This is something I know a lot of people don't talk about, but I'm big on this because, like, no
Mm,
offense, but not everybody just deserves to be held to the top. You don't get to just jump from bottom rung of the ladder to the top without effort. People have to create that on Whatnot. It's a whiny community that they're like, oh my God, so and so sold this and did that. And how come I can't? That's because we put in the work. That's
Mm.
yeah,
because
you
we
showed
have
up
put in the
consistently.
sacrifice, the
Yeah.
loss. And so community is a fine line for me too. Even though I said that about district, the lack of community is there's no internal growth. It's all individual. On
So
Whatnot, it's all somebody pull me to the top.
yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
man, that slaps. It really does, because you're right. So there's a fine line between both, is what you're saying, and it's important to have your foot in both lanes. It sounds
Like
like.
Whatnot has become a total the whole system is screwed to me. It's all a raid train race. I hate raid trains at this point because every day is a raid train. It's hog the tie waves. I can't succeed without a raid train. And if you base your whole opinion on being in a raid train, you will be nothing without the raid train. because you're
Right.
look at
Yeah.
everything as an algorithm. It's like if you have 100,000 view video and then 2,000 view videos, your algorithm's dead. There's no consistency. So if you're in a raid train, you get 500 people, and the next day you're back to 20 people, and the next day you're back to 20 people, you don't get nowhere. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't get that. They're not building it through organic growth. They're raid train, put me to the top. Let me oversell stuff. And that's imploding the system. It's imploding everybody's pocketbook because everybody focuses on sellers. What about the buyers? Without buyers,
Mhm.
we're nothing. So if you have
Correct.
raid trains every day, everybody's overhyping everything, everybody's overselling anything, everybody's in a FOMO to rush to spend their money. What I see happening in live selling, to be honest with you, is the world's going to go broke. People are not talking about this, but I'm willing to bet within the next 5 years, there's not going to, it's going to be tough to be a reseller because FOMO is depleting people's money. They're going to run out of credit cards. They're not going to make money fast enough if they're overpaying and not profiting or adding value to their collection. And I foresee a potential of this not lasting several years because the whole world's going to go broke.
Would you see
And that's
that
something no one talks about.
would you
Wow.
say that's the same thing that's happening in the storage auction world, where the lockers are going up to a certain price and you can't make money
I
back?
think live selling is doing that because people have learned to sell so fast and their profit margin is so small that they're willing to spend more. And all the people who never bought storages, like comic guys, card guys, sneaker guys, toy guys, women's, all these people have learned, oh, let me go buy storages because I can't find enough stuff to move it quick enough. And that's why storages have skyrocketed. Live selling has imploded the price ranges because people are willing to gamble because they could do a $50,000 show in one day on whatnot, and they don't even care if they lose. They're more addicted to the audience. This is what I personally think is most people on whatnot are more addicted to having people watching them and the attention than they are the profit they're making because they don't make
Ooh,
social media, but they feel attention. They're addicted to attention. How am I going to get 300 people back? I can't survive off 20. It's not profit. They're addicted to attention.
damn,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's live.
I
I
never
could see
thought about it like that, but I'm like, holy moly. Yeah,
Marcus is dropping
I
wisdom.
know you
Yeah.
drop it knowledge. Holy crap.
I'm like,
I
dang.
probably say a lot of stuff I shouldn't, and a lot of
No,
people
that's
stuff people don't touch on. But I'm a very devil's advocate person. I'm always thinking,
Mm.
that's okay. Yeah, I
It's
love
and I
good
the
to
see
make
things
people think.
differently.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
good.
definitely something to think about. I paused whatnot because it was for that reason. I did raid trains for almost 2 years. Then I stopped and I tried doing it on my own, and I was just like, "What the hell is going on?" And now, after hearing everything you're saying, I'm just like, light bulb, like it's a cheesy cartoon with a light bulb over my head. Like this totally makes sense.
Yeah,
Everything I'm
I
like
guess
saying.
I've never seen whatnot as the get rich quick type of thing.
Oh,
I'm a
that's a loss
smaller
leader to me.
reseller. I could come sitting next to
But I mean,
probably
but
any of
it
you.
is though. It's like you could be a nobody seller, and the way you articulate or the way you start off is important. Like people are buying attention. You watch the big shows are always like thousands of dollars in giveaways and loss of money, or you're selling really desirable items. People grow out of nowhere on there. I mean, some of the biggest sellers on there, like Joe Hollywood's a good friend of mine. I've done collabs with him, and that guy gives away like tens of thousands of dollars a night. People come in and bless the chat a lot, and that drives the people to come in, and people want to spend more because they're like, I want to win this $400 giveaway. Let me buy something I don't need because the mind tells people if I buy something, my odds are better.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's different things that create all the it's psychological, you know what I mean? Like Facebook was created off a system of attention. The more likes I get, the more dislikes I get, the more comments. Oh, I'm not getting enough comments. Oh, I need to come back and participate more. It's all psychological that we don't really realize because we just think it's social media or whatnot. But like I said, the attention is real on there, and you can grow really fast on there. But it's going to cost you, and you're going to have to be married to it. Like you'll see same people just on whatnot all day, just running their damn mouth about nothing. They're not even really selling no more. They're just on there like, oh, look at me, look what I do. Like,
So you're
like make a
man, the wisdom, like Bob said. Okay, so you're a content creator, you're a live seller on YouTube. With everything that you're saying, where do you lie between all of that? Like, how does
I've
that
learned
work?
to differentiate this. That's why I have this opinion because a lot of people fail at content, and I get it because they don't want to try. It's like anything in the world. You have to do content every day, and you got to live that. People go on Whatnot, and then they start making the content about Whatnot. That don't work. First off, TikTok don't like when you use the word whatnot. Instagram don't like when you use the word whatnot. Facebook and YouTube, they don't like when you use the words and put the links and take people from the platform, because any platform you're on will demote you the moment you keep sending people to other platforms. And it does still work sometimes. On some aspects, it works. But the average person, if you're not driving things higher in an algorithm, and so what that's why I differentiate myself. I try not to make content on Whatnot about it. I'll share links and stories, but I don't make my content about Whatnot. Like a lot of people are making TikToks about what they sold because they don't know how to make content, right? And then they go on Whatnot and they pretend they're content creators selling stuff, and it's a total mind flip to me. And I separate myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing one thing and I'm business on Whatnot. I'll go on there and do a giveaway and talk, but I don't want to sit there. And like I said, like I feel people are attention whores on Whatnot. It's not about money. There, you could tell who's about money and who just wants people to look at them every day and who wants to see 400 people in their chat. It's like it's psychological. Maybe they weren't hugged enough as a kid. I don't know what it is. Their girlfriend didn't love them. They just need more attention nonstop. And they're live all the time doing it. And they
Dang.
might get
It's slapping tonight.
Crazy. Yep.
But are you wrong? I don't think
Right.
you're too far off the mark.
I'm not
Like,
right and I'm not wrong.
I don't think I
somewhere along the
necessarily
lines
100% agree with everything
No,
you're
but
saying, but I definitely see the value in what you're saying, which is great about being Gen X. Like I can disagree with you and we can still be friends,
yeah.
critical thinking and all that stuff.
dang,
So
Gen
I
X.
think we're kind of close to the same age. Maybe I'm a little bit older than you, but it seems like
I'm
minded.
23.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
I'm just
That's
kidding. I'm
that's
just
so
kidding.
weird.
I'm the oldest one here.
Yeah, you are.
I have no soul.
Grandma Ellie.
Listen, my heart.
Yeah. So,
It's all these
Mike,
kids that made me old.
you get to do this with your family. I was watching one of your recent videos on Hustle Grind Rewind. And there was a moment where you're doing packing with your son, and the music slowed down, and it was this one of those music. You best part of being your own man and business owner, the ability to be doing this with your son and have those moments of let's talk about it. How's that impacted you not only as a dad but as a business owner?
Well, the sad part now is my son lives 2 hours from me now. Those days have passed.
Mhm.
Before my son, it was my daughter, but nobody's seen the Salt Princess really in years because she kind of moved out of the house and stopped being part of the family business. But for many years, my kids were always with me. When I was with their mom years ago, they'd be at the flea market. When I had full custody, she tried to play the game in the court. Well, he has to run a business and he keeps them at the storage unit. The judge said, hey, no problem with them being in storage unit. It's none of your business where they are with him as long as they're safe. You know what I mean? Which I end up with full custody. And I've been able to understand a lot about life, being able to spend time with my family. Most people don't get this because we are programmed that we need to work and make money and buy LV purses and get new cars and all the things that keep us
Consumerism.
from living life.
Mm.
Then you wake up one day and your kids are adults and you're like, what the hell? I'm sad now. My kids have moved out. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to be able to spend the time I did with my kids because I miss them now that they're adults. I'll never get that back. And I understand how other people don't. I see pain in other people that they don't even see coming in. They haven't even got to that point. People don't realize that till their kids have moved out or all these things have transpired. And it is a
Mhm.
blessing to be able to spend the time that I did with my children while I could before they became adults and doing what they're doing. And I value every moment of it. I was hoping that the younger ones would have took on to it more, but it's like they're not programmed that way. I have no control over it because neither one of them, not to say nothing mean, but they're not my children. They have other fathers with Jessica had them other people. And I
Mhm.
don't think they look at me the same as my children do. You know what I mean? They
Yeah, sure.
might and subconsciously, but consciously they don't see me as their dad and they don't value the bond and time that my kids enjoyed for the most part till it became work and they wanted to, fight with it. But I like them. That's why I like family vlogs. I like filming camp. That's why I like filming going to the, I like them to be in my unboxing videos. I like them in every aspect of my life because I value family. I used to not be that way. I used to not be that way because I was young and dumb. And the more life goes, I've realized how important things are. Both my parents end up dying. Never will I get to talk to them again. You know what I mean? My kids move out. I will never get to really be a father to them again. I'm starting to see this, how blessing life is and how irrelevant money is compared to time. Time is priceless. You can never buy, you can have $10 million right now. You cannot buy one extra day of life. You
Yeah.
can't.
I always say it on this podcast. I've said it a million times, probably, that, my time is finite. And if I give it to you, just know that it's the most valuable thing I'll ever give you. I can't say enough about that. So all the things that you're saying regarding, taking the moments and being with your family and enjoying it for what it is are super important. Ellie gets to do this and do it with her family watching. I think that's really impactful too. Ellie, you want to talk about that and what that means to you and your reselling journey?
Yeah, we definitely think the same. Mike, everything that you just said encompasses the reason that I do what I do. I was kind of, I was doing, whatever $15 an hour work at a grocery store before I did reselling. And not having that time with my kid for 15 bucks an hour just, I mean, I'm lucky now. I'm together with my husband. He provides, and whatever I do helps us with field trips, groceries, smaller bills, whatever. He basically covers all the bills. But the fact that I can do it, be home with them, teach them how to do it, and I sell toys. So
That's
they're 9
priceless.
and 10. They love this. They do it with me. They know what to look for. Um, I'm definitely living in the moment and trying to. And I have one daughter, my oldest, my 15-year-old. She doesn't want to homeschool. She didn't want to homeschool, and I didn't make her. But even she is starting to see a value in not necessarily reselling like I do, but in being her own boss, possibly being an entrepreneur, working for herself and not working for a company. And that's what I'm trying to really focus on with them. Not being locked like
That's
we talked
priceless
about.
though.
Yeah.
Some people will never get, I don't never discuss this because it's very personal. I've had a severe problem with Jessica for a while because she keeps trying to, instead of running our business, which gives us a great life, have a job. And her job is like something like 27 an hour now. And I'm considered belittling because I'm trying to get her to understand that that's not really that much money. The cost of living is so high that's basically minimum wage, and we have the ability to make a vast amount of money. And I now moved to this mountain where we live at, and I have no help. And she went off to get this job somewhere that I guess fulfills her. I don't know. I don't know how to have the empathy for it because I don't see the benefit in being away from me, being away from both your daughters, and spending your whole life somewhere where you're probably never going to retire. And we're in this constant battle now. It's like our house is at war almost because I feel like a failure in teaching somebody the value of life compared to the programming of a job.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I think
Some people will never understand being self employment or reselling versus the slavery
I
contract
think
we are
you're right.
programmed to have.
Some people are just never going to get it, no matter what the value is that you can provide them. They're not going to understand the difference. And I can say so because I have family who I have tried um, to kind of look. I'm not a big reseller. I'm not making thousands or hundreds of thousands, but I'm providing a little bit of extra um, space here for us to be able to do the fun things, and it makes a difference. And so for me to not go sit at a job for 12, 15, $20, $30 an hour, when I can, they'll never get it. They wouldn't trade that for the chaos that sometimes is reselling, and it can
To
be.
bet
Don't
on
get me
yourself.
wrong. Yeah,
To bet on yourself.
yeah,
Mhm.
Because in all actuality, $30 an hour is nothing. Not in today's cost of living. It's
yeah.
I
especially in
remember when I
California.
was working for $12 an hour just 20 years ago or 23 years ago when I stopped doing that job. And even if they paid me 36 an hour, I would not be able to pay for my life right now. If they paid me 50 an hour, I would not be able to pay this mortgage, the electricity, the water, and function and have free time. It makes no sense, you know? And I don't think people value time. I think people see time as infinite. Oh, all I have to do, but it's cool. And if I just work there 30, 40 years, you're probably not going to make 40 years of life. Especially if you're like, say, for example, a 35, 38, 40-year-old person, the chances of you making 80 and enjoying your life before you die, having to work every day to never get by, never get ahead, and have to use debt at an interest rate to have any fun, that's slavery. That's slavery in my eyes. I'm not don't mean to use that word that much, but like
Well,
that's the way I look at
they've
life.
they've
We're
built a better
slaves.
slave, right? So they've built a better slave where you don't know that you are.
Yeah.
So, and that's really slaps when you really want to think about that one for a second. So
And I
think
look at it a
about,
lot because I'm 47 now, and I'm thinking my life is well over 50% past. I'm
yeah, I
not
mean,
making 100. I'll be lucky to make 80.
Mm.
mhm,
I got like 37% left in my tank. Is the
yeah.
way I look. My mind looks at it.
That's why I've
Dang.
always like been very like cautious with the rest of the remaining of my time because I am 51. I'll be 52 this year. So I'm having the same kind of thought process going through my head. I got a limited amount of time. I want to make the most impact that I can, and purpose driven life. That's I think what really drives people. It's like finding your purpose. Something like existential for a second, but I mean, what's the meaning of life, right? Purpose. Now,
There's a
maybe.
really good video I recommend everybody to watch because this is another video that changed my life. Just go on YouTube and type in how many days of your life you'll live compared to jelly beans. And as a person who takes the 31,000 or 28,000 average days we live, they spread the jelly beans out and they start articulating how much of these jelly beans will be spent in school, sleep, bathroom, work, and then how many you'll get to actually live. And if you can really sit back and just watch this video for the minute it is and understand, it's like, damn,
Mhm.
Yeah,
damn.
we're not here for a long time, but hopefully for a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of good times, I want to just talk about something that we do on this podcast. That's always a good time, where we call out another reseller that you would like to see on Launchpad Reseller podcast. So this is your moment, Mike. Who would you like to see on Launchpad Reseller podcast? Who do you think would add value to the
My friend Storage Stalker
Storage.
storage stalker? You've heard it here. You are called out on Launchpad Reseller
And his
podcast.
wife Liz.
Liz.
Love it.
Liz.
Yeah, I love them in your content. I've went and actually followed them, and I've been,
Same.
doing all the things. I've been trying to find them everywhere I can. So, if you guys aren't following Storage Stalker, make sure you do that. Seems like a really genuine dude. You went camping with him and his family. He was manning the grill, another man's grill. It says a lot about him right there. Anybody that's done that
He's
before?
probably my best friend in the world. We inadvertently met through this business, and somehow we have been intertwined since.
I love
Yeah,
that.
for
And a
sure.
lot of wild stories and times.
Yeah,
I
for
bet
sure.
it.
I love it. I love everything about it. So this is usually where we open things up for questions in the comments and chat. So we'll go ahead and call you guys pirates for the lack of a better chat. I'm not a big fan of the word chat, but it is what it is. So
Boat
do you
man, what's up?
have?
I want to show you guys something.
Oh hell yeah!
This
Let's
is
do it.
this is
Show
a
and tell.
sign Boatman sent me this years ago when I was homeless and started to get my life back on track. It's hard to beat a person who never gives up, Babe Ruth.
Oh yeah!
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Boatman is in the chat right now, sent me this.
I love that.
Shout out Boatman. So I would
Yes.
assume Boatman is also on the socials. So if you guys want to follow Boatman, I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
I don't know if he makes content. I don't know. I just know him
No,
as Boatman on here.
wait, you're not at least promoting your live of whatnot. I'm just kidding. We talked about not doing that. You're gonna get suppressed.
Yeah, right. No shout outs, Bob. Stop
No,
it.
no shout. Stop it, Bob. I
Well,
can't
listen,
help
while we're
myself.
waiting, I had a little bit of a question because we kind of got cut off earlier when you were telling us about your $600 flip. So, how do you go from that flip and quitting your job next day? At what point did you find storages? storage units? At what point did you
Well,
decide?
that was technically a storage auction, but I didn't know of storage auction because, like I said, when I started doing this, there was no, it was nothing. I literally paved this way. I literally, like, I don't know how to say it, but like I was like Steve Jobs creating the storage business. And
Wow.
so the first thing I did was we started going to like abandonment auctions, and then we started to find a storage auction because it was secretive back then. It was nothing. I'm telling you, there was. I made the first TV pilot. I did the first TV special. It was like it just stumbled onto it. Then I found an auction, and everybody hated me. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, look who's this new guy," and then I started making videos, and it started catching on a little bit, and people started hating me. But then I just started finding them, and this was when everything was live and it was tougher to get to. But it was the newspaper. You went to the newspaper because in 2008 the internet wasn't super big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2007, 2006 era. The internet wasn't really
Facebook come
that
out in
big.
like 2010 or something, 2011, something like that. So,
Yeah.
at, you have a video right on your channel that's like, I don't know how many millions of views, that you find like $26,000 in.
4.7 million views.
Yeah.
I'm a
Dang,
data guy,
Bob.
so you
Yep.
figure I know. Leave it to the data nerds.
So
That's
how
the
far into
video.
your journey did you find that grail?
That's the video that started everything. That's the video that sparked the stuff that everybody
Wildfire.
followed.
Everybody's like,
That
it's
all the
fake,
other
it's fake
YouTubers
money.
started. Oh yeah. Well, that
Somebody.
video was longer. Like I said, like I had to edit it because I had like weed all over the table. Not say that personal, but like I was the video was much more different. I had to edit out all the cussing, the weed smoking, and stuff like that because and it makes it look more fake then because it's like.
Cut up.
But
Yeah.
that was real. I was with the kid's mom at the time. Still, this is before I had to leave her and get custody, and I would never expect it. That storage unit, I didn't want to buy. I really only bought that storage unit because there was this jerk off who started coming to the auctions, and he just thought he was a badass with all of his money, and he walked around this weird little briefcase, and he just annoyed the hell out of me. And we were at the auction, and I'm looking at the unit, and he was shining the flashlight in my eyes, making jokes, right? And I just was going to outbid him no matter what. It was a sheer accident. I bought that unit, and it turned out to
Wow.
have one of my best finds ever.
Serendipitous. It lit a fire underneath
Dang,
everything.
that was a pettiness buy. Pirate was like, "You're not getting this one."
I play chess in the storage business. I play chess in there because the storage business is like high school. It's all a
Mhm.
bunch of people who hate each other. All they do is pretend to be friends. They talk a lot of smack about each other. They tell a lot of fish tales, and it's a joke. That's why when you see me at the auction, I don't really talk to them. Everybody comes up to me and they want to be friendly, and they're like, "I saw this video," and I mind my own damn business. I don't want to talk to none of y'all. No, and if they're watching this, I'm sorry, but I don't. I'm like, there is no friends at the auction. There are none. If you have a friend at the auction, the chances are you're going to cost yourself money. You want to be my friend? You come over to my house later and have a Modelo. But the auction, you're my enemy. Unless
Oh,
we're
and the
buying this
best.
together.
I'm
Yeah.
coming over. You said the right one. That's awesome. That's great. Oh man, but
And
that's so
the
real.
business, the storage business is cold and it's fake. It's weird. It's ruthless and it's a lot of pretending. And I don't have a pretend on me. Like I'm very like weird. Like for a long time, I used to have the pink mohawk and I would carry a pink purse to the auction, a unicorn. And I did it more and more because instead of focusing on the storage, everybody's focused on my purse, talking smack, worrying about me standing there. And it was like a way to throw everybody off. Like, okay, what can I do even more crazier than this to get you guys to not worry about the business I'm trying to do, you know?
Man, who knew
Mhm.
that you were so deep? That is genius.
Strategic.
It was
I
the
don't.
psychological warfare.
Yes, that's great.
That
I
is
don't see a
awesome.
lot of other questions, but I have one more. I've done one storage unit in my life. It was like a 5x5. It was junk. It wasn't great. Um, how did you did you always have a warehouse, or how did you go about space? Because just with one 5x5, like I didn't know what to do with with one 5x5 unit. So when you get like a 10 by
Well,
30,
I've always ran out of a bit as a storage unit since day one. So when I first started this, I had like a 5x5, but didn't have much in it because I wasn't buying crazy. The internet wasn't big. eBay wasn't going hard, like it was all these things. And then like something happened and I lost that storage. This was like 2008. Like I've been homeless like probably two or three times in my entire journey of social media and resale. Like there wasn't
Wow.
just one low or one high. And then I eventually moved to like a 10x20. And I've always seen all these things as it doesn't matter what it costs as a business write off. Like I'm very big about it. I don't care what something costs if I can write it off. Like I really don't. Like
Mhm.
because I'm to the point where they're charging me $70,000 to $90,000 a year in taxes right now. So anything I can spend or write off, I would so much rather have it make my life simpler versus going to Uncle Sammy because it makes no sense. And so I moved to a 10x20 for a while and I ran my business. This is when Craigslist was big and I would do anything I can to make extra money. It's only like 200 a month. And I've always had this process. I end up moving to a 30x30. The unit that in 2008, that 30x30 was something I rented at Public Storage. I got to the point where I had three of those 30x30s. It was like 1,200 a month, but I don't care because it's money and it's time, right? Anything that can make your life simpler, organized is, now I have the luxury that I have this beautiful warehouse in my backyard and I don't need that no more. But
Mhm.
it's a write off, whatever it takes. If it's a trailer and you got to finance it, it's a write off. It's going to make you more money. That's the first thing I did. That 26,000 changed my life. I was spending 1,000 to 1,500 a month renting U-Hauls. I put my whole, most of my half of that 26,000 into a brand new trailer, cash money. The rest I blew on a stereo like an idiot kid, whatever. That stereo is still in my box truck and it still bumps and I can play my anything I want to 10
That's
years,
a
12 years later, 20 years later,
token for sure.
but anything that's a write-off like space, a storage unit, the bigger if it's functional, you know what I mean? Like you have to be careful because storages go up. Like public storage, every 5 months they'll raise the rent. So you
Yeah.
hop around. You get that dollar special. Then when it's up, oop, let me get another one. Let me have my husband go rent one. Let me have my daughter go rent one. Let me get it back into a cheaper rent. You play the game.
Wow.
Not so much a
Okay.
question, but we have
Taking
a
notes.
fan in the chat. His name is Harlow. He's out of Minnesota, and he's waving to me particularly because I know Harlow. And Harlow's a up and coming reseller, and he's super young. Um, any words of encouragement for young Harlow? He's probably about what, like 6, 7, somewhere in there. He wants to be a reseller when he grows up.
Did you say 6 or 7?
Yeah, somewhere in there. I'm probably getting it wrong. I
Like
He's
know
a
what you mean,
seven years
hustler.
old.
I'm ignoring you, Mike, on purpose.
What do you say to those young kids? Because I have young kids too who want to do this at least for now.
Yeah. Let's give
It's
some.
tough for a kid because you can't even have your own eBay account. I know a kid at the flea market who was like 14 and his dad refused to make him an eBay account and he wanted to help his family do better, but his dad's kind of a jerk off and he wouldn't make him an eBay account, you know what I mean? And he watches my videos and I was like, uh there's no age limit on this job. It's just about what you're willing to do. It's like anything in life. It don't matter if you want to be an athlete. It don't matter if you want to be an astronaut. It don't matter if you want to be a teacher. It don't matter if you want to be a homeless guy. You're only gonna get into anything what you put into it. That's
Yeah.
it. Period.
That's
Like
what's powerful
there's
about reselling. You get exactly out of it what you put into it. I'm a firm believer in that. We said that we've talked to countless resellers on this channel over the past 6 months, and we're just about wrapping up season 1 of Launchpad Reseller Podcast. Season 2 will be coming out soon. So we've always had those conversations, and it's super impactful, I think, too. So, Mike, your sage advice for all the pirates out there continuing on the storage auction, battles out there. What's some of the best advice you can give them as they continue on in the business?
mm, I try to be profound when I speak. I like to think before I speak, but the storage business is not a get rich scheme. I don't care what you see on my videos, Jeebus videos, Locker Nuts, Storage Stalkers. I don't care what you watch on Storage Wars. It's not the answer to your problems. It is an outlet, a means, an avenue, a stream. There's like you go down the freeway, there's 5 lanes in that freeway. It's a lane. You can get lucky, but it is now the equivalent of a casino. Before when I started, it was sound. It was something you can rely on more. it has become the equivalent of a slot machine. You can get lucky, you can lose it all. I've shown everybody that because I was homeless 7 years ago from this business, living on the streets with full custody of 2 children. You can lose everything and you can make everything. So go all in, but tread lightly. You know what I mean? That makes no sense, right? It doesn't make sense. You
Yeah.
got to be careful.
Yeah.
So if you have an addictive personality, what you're saying is maybe not storage lockers.
I mean,
Maybe
if
not.
you have no self control and
Right.
you are, because a lot of people, I know people that are constantly starting out right now and they're throwing 10, 15, 20 grand storage units because they watched one too many of my videos. And trust me, I'm not spending 20 grand because I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't have some form of insight, because the manager hasn't given me some information, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not bidding 20,000 on every unit. I'm buying $200 units too, because there's a reason for everything. But people who are jumping into this, they're gonna probably lose it all.
Yeah. Well, there's one success story. Land Shark Picker is in chat. Let's go ahead and throw it up. Said, for those that don't know, we're actually broadcasting to Spotify. So I'm going to go ahead and read this one for our Spotify audience so that they can hit big on my first unit I bought. Been chasing ever since. $90 into about 30K. Still selling items from it. So,
And that's what I was just gonna say. One of the biggest issues, but he said it himself. The average person gets lucky on their first unit, and you spend a lot of time chasing the dragon. You really will.
It's just like
It's
many
the
other
truth.
things that we're not going to talk about on this channel, but I mean, it really is the case, right? Your success early on. It's kind of interesting how that works a lot of times. Like right out the gate, you'll get a lot of success. That's how I became a reseller. Watching a Gary Vee video. Next thing you know, I'm selling teddy bears. My first one sells for $142. I'm just like, I'm in. Let's do this. You know, so that's what we sell. It's kind of wild to think about, you know, niching down like that and all the things. But I mean, I can see how it can happen for sure. You know, so we got people. Landshark says, "What is up, Mike? What is up?"
Sup? No, he didn't say what is up. He said sup. Come
Sup.
on, say it
Sorry,
right.
I gotta. Yeah. Sup. What's up, homie?
Any other questions in the chat while we've got Mike here?
You got your own personal captain, pirate, all the things, reseller extraordinaire, legend, all the things, often imitated, never duplicated. Storage auction pirate. We appreciate you being here, Mike. We're gonna give you the last word on the channel, but before we do that, I want to encourage everybody to subscribe and like to Hustle Grind Rewind first of all, and once you're done doing that, go ahead and sub and like this podcast so we can have more resellers on and talk about all things reselling, because it helps those that are coming up to understand exactly what they're getting themselves into, which is the point of this podcast. So, famous last words, Mike.
Hustle, grind, rewind.
And there you have it.
Drop the mic.
Hustle, grind, rewind. You've heard it here.
It's not a motto, it's a way of life.
Yes.
Make sure you're subbing to Mike, Hustle, grind, rewind. Mike, stick around for just one more moment. I got another question for you off camera. And we appreciate you all being here and being a part of this episode. What a way to finish up season 1 of Launchpad Reseller Podcast. Remember, for all those on Spotify, we love you so much. We appreciate you tuning in as well. And remember, if you can't be good at it. All right.